Hey, what's happening, Bootstrappers? This is Dale L. Roberts of Bootstrap Businessmen, and I'm going to get into my second part of Upwork. I had wrote something probably about the week before last, but unfortunately I've been kind of tied up. I want to share with you a little bit more about Upwork.com. It actually had started out originally as a different company, and it also merged with another one called Elance. But in any event, Upwork is where you can pick up freelancers or you can become a freelancer. As you can see up here, it says become a freelancer. Now, I don't have any personal experience when it comes to becoming a freelancer here, but it certainly is a great way to make income should you have some kind of skill set or knowledge set that you can be able to apply here. I would really highly recommend that you just go on and do a little bit of browsing. You can see up here it says browse, just click on that. It'll explain just a little bit more how it works. I use it as a person that would, help build, in ancillary fashion. So for instance, I've hired out writers that I use underneath a pen name. Now, not underneath Dale L. Roberts, not to be confused, but underneath completely separate brands and separate business as far as, from my fitness and such. So, for instance, one of the things I'll show you here just real briefly is going to be a cowboy western romance type thing, and I was able to hire somebody through that. So, really, what happens is you get yourself signed up for an account, okay? And you can post a job. Now, for the sake of that, I don't want to cloud up my account with a lot of job postings that I'm not going to hire people on. I'm not going to click on this, but you'll want to use that. For instance, if you're hiring out for some proofreader or an editor, or maybe you're looking to do some search engine optimization, or you're looking for a copywriter who's going to write some good ad copy for your business. Or, in some instances, you're going to look for these job postings. So think of it from both ends of the spectrum. Even though I'm showing it to you as far as hiring, you may be able to use this to get hired. So going a little bit further forward here. So to get my romance book, I set a budget. Okay, it was a rather meager budget at $50. I listed underneath creative writing. It's a fixed price. So in other words, there was an hourly rate and then there was a fixed price. And I just wanted to just base it on a salary altogether. I started out, you want to make sure that you're setting your expectations at a pretty high level so people understand what they're signing up for. So I started out saying, hey, hello, I produce short and informative ebooks that are based in romance. I'd actually done a copy and paste, so you can tell that informative probably is not necessarily the word I wanted to use in romance, but worked nonetheless. So if you're looking for a recurring job as a freelance writer, you came to the right place. Here's what I need, my expectations. A native English speaking writer, okay? I'm just straightforward. I'm not looking for somebody who is, native Spanish speaking or native Filipino. I'm looking for a native English speaking writer because I specifically needed to have a Western romance that someone is able to write it to where most people in the Western Hemisphere can be able to understand it. Now, if I was looking for something else in another region, then obviously I would change that expectation. If you don't have a good grasp on Western English sentence structure, please don't apply. Someone who can be a good researcher. That's the thing is when it comes to writing, I really believe that you need to do a little bit of due diligence, a little bit of research, so that way whatever product you put out, whether nonfiction or fiction, comes off as being authentic and very real. Don't plagiarize. Huge thing for me. All books are run through PlageScan and Copyscape. They need to be 100% original. Okay, setting my expectations high. I have to tell you that twice I've actually used this and have really flagged a couple of writers and taken them off. And where I don't pay them, I just say, hey, look, you're going to plagiarize your stuff. I don't want it. So who's your favorite musician? Please answer this question in the application. Real random question, but you're going to find that there's a lot of people that mass answer for jobs because they're just looking for some money at this point. And, to me, I think it's important if I'm going to hire somebody that they have good attention to detail. So people that have glossed over that question, I typically just throw them into the outbox because I really just don't care about having them hired. So pay attention if you are looking for jobs. There are people like me that will put that question in there real randomly. Just make sure that you're paying attention. Little trick I learned from Jason Brock, a long time ago. Timeliness. The faster you produce these with quality, the more jobs you'll get. So I pretty much say, hey, you're going to be rewarded with more work if you could do it efficient and in quality. The first assignment's a potential introductory short story to a series of romance books. Good, clean, cute, sweet romance. Nothing raunchy or taboo. This job will be recurring if you do a good job. Sincerely, Dale. So when you're hiring out and you're putting your expectations at a certain level, you want to make sure that you're very, very specific. The less specific you are, the more it opens up the floodgates to people that are just there to get your money and get skedaddling. How this works is, as soon as you put this up, you don't need to have money right away, but you're going to have people that are going to start bidding for your specific job. Some people ask for more than, say, for instance, this one was $50. They might ask for 75. I've seen even 300, 500. They're going to ask for these different levels. It's up to you if you want to do a little bit of negotiating. That's definitely possible. But as soon as you find somebody that you think is agreeable, you can offer them the contract. As soon as you offer them the contract, so in this instance, I had some conversation back and forth with the writer, and I talked about specifically per our conversation via our message. I can go through all this stuff. I just essentially go back in there and I just talk about exactly what I was looking for: historical romance, yada yada. One last small favor. I just make sure the expectations. I put in those additional things before they can accept the job. And then I do what's called putting my money in escrow. So essentially Upwork will hold on to my money. So in other words, I'm not paying my freelancer directly. Upwork pays them. Only if I approve the gig. Now, this is not to say I'm going around and getting work done for me for free and I'm trying to pull the wool over my freelancer's eyes, but there's been a couple of instances where I've had some disputes. One of them, a gentleman felt his work was good, but it failed plage scan. His sentence structure was awful, his research was not good, and he fought me tooth and nail. He felt, well, you still owe me $35 of the $50 that, was agreed upon because I worked on your stuff for a while. Well, the problem was the guy was late, he had every excuse in the book, and I gave him 2 months, which was far too long in my opinion, before I finally went ahead and disputed it, went with Upwork, and Upwork just pretty much said to me, we had to go through a whole dispute case, and eventually they found it in my favor because I was very specific about my expectations. So make sure that when you are messaging your freelancer, or if you're the freelancer, you're messaging your boss, you want to make sure that you never go off of being professional. Okay, you don't want to be unprofessional. You don't want to say, well, that's okay, you're late, or I guess it's okay if you have a few things in plage scan off. You want to stick to whatever your expectations were and don't budge. I'm not telling you to be inhuman or, for that matter, be mean, but you need to also be very professional and understand that everything you write in your messaging will be looked at later if there is some form of dispute. So bear that in mind, whether you're the freelancer or you are the potential employer. You want to make sure that you're conducting yourself 100% professional at all times. So that's really all I was going to show you today for Upwork.com. There are other places like Guru.com, I believe, is one of them. Elance might still be open. They're attached to Upwork in some capacity, so I just would think that you would just stick with Upwork.com. You can look around, see other places. I like Upwork. It worked out really well for me. I hired quite a few good people at a relatively good price. And so in any event, if you enjoy this video, please make sure that you share it with other people. And don't forget, check out Bootstrap Businessmen at show.bootstrapbusinessmen.com. Would love to hear from you. Please make sure that you get a hold of us over on Facebook or even on our YouTube channel. In the meantime, thanks for tuning in. Good luck.